Kentucky woman accused of dismembering her mother and cooking her body parts inside a Robertson County home was indicted this morning on multiple charges, including abuse of a corpse and animal torture.
Kylie Hill spoke with family members who were overwhelmed by a mix of emotions, including grief, shock, and disbelief. We do want to warn you, some of the details of this story are disturbing.
Yeah, I'm actually in Harrison County where Toralina May Fields was supposed to be arraigned today. However, she was indicted Monday morning and now is additionally charged with murder. I spoke with her family earlier who says that they are just shocked and speechless about this entire situation.
Toralina May Fields has been indicted on the following charges: murder, abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, torturing of a dog with serious physical injury or death, and obstruction governmental operations.
You can imagine it's one thing to find out your family member's been murdered, but I mean, it's a whole other thing for the details and stuff. I mean, it's just literally unimaginable. Is
According to the indictment, Toralina allegedly shot her mother, Trudy Fields, in the head and stabbed her multiple times. The indictment also alleges Toralina dismembered her mother's body by, quote, placing her head, hands, feet, and forearms in a pot in the oven and heating them until they were charred. It also alleged that between October 8th and October 9th, she intentionally tortured and killed a domestic dog.
all of us have been experiencing shock for the first time, I guess you could say.
Her family says she was in California for the last couple of years, but say they do believe she participated in witchcraft at some point. In a citation filed last week, a repair worker who was on the property that day told Kentucky State Police that Toralina was casting spells on them and was being confrontational. They say the girl in the mugshot is not who they knew.
Is she in a mental state that we're not hoping she is, but you kind of hope it's something that where she's not in her right mind. You want her to be out of her mind.
There's a cause for this.
Well, in California, they say she was involved in a motorcycle accident that potentially caused brain damage and was only back in Kentucky for a few months.
It was a surprise to all of us that she was back here, and we think that Trudy was trying to help her with whatever she had going on mentally.
Trudy Fields is described as a godly Christian woman.
Brought up respect, morals, standards, do unto others as you would do unto them.
The family says they plan to keep going to Toralina's court appearances, trying to get answers.
How do you say, I'm so sad and I want justice for my family member, but I'm so sad because is my other family member not okay?
Now with all of that, a preliminary hearing is scheduled for October 23rd at 8:30 a.m. in Robertson County and Harrison County.
Welcome to the Knowing Your Worth TV, where we talk about narcissistic behavior, mental health, and real life struggles and stories that have taken place. If you are new here, you have found a new home. So welcome, welcome, welcome. To my day ones, thank you. And y'all know it's all over here. So gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I want to see everybody win. So let's slide into this video. It's with heavy hearts. This is a tragic story, right? So first things first, I want to say rest in paradise, Miss Trudy Fields. Miss Trudy Fields was murdered by her own daughter after trying to help her daughter get back on track, or whatever, we as parents, what we try to do for our kids. But this is the things that she gets. She gets murdered, and not only gets murdered, it is the way that she got murdered, right? I think she was shot first and then stabbed, and then her daughter chopped up her body, cooked her body parts. It's just that's gruesome. That's a lot. And I want to say, first thing I want to say, my commentary on it, what I think about, my thoughts about it is pay attention to people, man. I don't care who it is, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your cousin, auntie, grandma, anybody, co-workers, people. This is not the same world it used to be, right? This is a different world. And there are demons, there are weird spirits roaming the earth, and sometimes you can't tell it unless you got like a real, for me, I have a real spiritual discernment. And when something is off about a person, I listen to it. I don't ignore that shit because people are really, they wilding out here. And if you don't pay attention, I don't care what they may claim to be, what they might try to hide, how cool they may seem to be. If it's something off about that person, pay attention. Get that person the help that you know, once you notice a switch or a shift in that person, get the help that they need. Do what you can do, right? Pray about it. I'm not saying forget about them or just leave them hanging, but if you feel like for your safety you need to distance yourself, then that's what you need to do until they are back on track the way they need to be. Whether that's medication, whether they need to talk to somebody. A lot of times it's mental health. A lot of times it is narcissism. With this situation, I don't know, y'all. There were some pictures of her in college. She seems perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden there was a shift. So it could be a combination of mental health and demonic, narcissism. So I don't know. But what I will say, it is a tragedy for this family. We just have to keep them in prayer. So that's really all I got, y'all. I just want to make my commentary very quick. I'm gonna let y'all listen to the rest of this video. Once again, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I'm hoping everybody will try to just live life like it's your last day. And just be at peace about things. I know anxiety, especially if you've dealt with somebody or you was in a relationship with somebody who's a narcissist, or just somebody who brings you anxiety or depression. Just know that I'm rooting for y'all. I want you to win, and we all gonna get through this. Okay, so until the next time, I'm out.
Fields are now racking their brains trying to understand where things went wrong.
Allie Root is here now to explain more about the Toralina Fields they knew, or so they thought.
Before Fields set off to California for a couple years, her friends say they saw her in a completely different light and knew her as a normal college student. They tell me they never saw this coming.
I was just stunned, like that's not the person I knew.
It was 2013 in an English 101 class when Brandon Schenkel says he met Toralina Fields for the first time. The two attended Morehead State University together. Schenkel says he remembers her as Tori, a fitness enthusiast who was outgoing, funny, and very friendly.
At the rec center, studying, going to parties. I think she even rushed a sorority.
Records show Fields was also enrolled at the University of Kentucky in 2015. After hearing about the violent crime, Schenkel says he couldn't believe Fields' name was linked to it.
It really turned my stomach because, it's so barbaric and gruesome. And then you think that's somebody that I was physically with in a vehicle or in a classroom and buddy with.
Schenkel studied criminology in school and now works as a private detective.
I really know how to look for red flags and read people, and she didn't really give any off back then. So it's just one of those things that kind of comes out of left field and shocks you.
After college, he followed her on social media, where she started going by a new name, Naomi Navarre. He says the alternate identity she created seemed very obscure and odd.
When I look at that social media profile of hers, I'm like, that's not the Tori I knew in college.
It feels like a stranger staring back at me.
According to IMDb, she pursued a Hollywood career and earned a few acting credits under that alias. Schenkel notes that Fields hasn't been active on her Instagram account since 2022 and says she could have been facing some sort of conflict in the time that's passed.
Maybe she was practicing witchcraft and got sucked into some sort of kind of evil cult. Or maybe she was on something that sent her into a psychosis. I don't know how I don't know how anyone would have the strength to do something like that without being under the influence of something.
Regardless of how this all unfolds, Schenkel says he sends his deepest condolences to the entire family as they grieve such a great loss. Back to you all.